What's good, YouTube? This video is going to be about a dating mistake women often make from a mental space. So listen, my most common question, the question I get overwhelmingly, more than every other question I've ever gotten is, how to tell if a guy likes me? Consequently, I've done countless videos on that subject in so many different angles and contexts that I can't even remember them all. I'm probably 30 or 40 videos into how to tell if a guy likes you, as applied to all the different angles and scenarios that could be. The problem is this, though. For many women, how to tell if a guy likes me is the wrong question to be asking. Too often, I meet the type of women who meet the type of men they should be avoiding, who chase the type of men they should be avoiding, and who love the type of men they should be avoiding, because they're so focused on how to tell if that guy likes them and if that guy likes them. For a lot of women, if he likes her, or how to make a man like her, is the biggest concern. Because of that, they endure tumultuous relationships that lead them nowhere. They endure a lot of hurt and heartache and a lot of toxicity at the hands of these men that they are so concerned with making like them. For many of you, how to tell if a guy likes you or how to make any particular guy like you is the wrong question to be asking. What you need to be asking when you meet a man is he good enough? Is he worthy? Right? If you spent all this time watching thousands of YouTube videos from 15 different creators about how to tell if a guy likes you, about how to avoid making mistakes, about how to impress a man, all these different things that are fed to women for various different reasons, good and bad, in the relationship space. If you improved yourself to the point that you can't make any more improvements, if you're ready for a relationship, if you've done all this work, and then you finally get to a guy, and instead of figuring out if he's worthy of all the work and all the effort that you've put into being the type of woman that deserves a real relationship, to being the type of wife one day that deserves all of a man's focus and love. If you put all that work in to build yourself up and to grow and to evolve, you finally get to a guy and you turn on these blinders, you put this blindfold on, and all of those things that you did go out the window, and your focus becomes how to tell if he likes you or how to make him like you, how to get him to validate you. After all of the investments you've made in self to make sure that you're good enough for a relationship, your number one question doesn't need to be if he likes you or how to make him like you to a person like me or any other YouTuber you might like. Your question needs to be, is he good enough? When you meet a man, is he good enough? Is he worth all the effort, all the trouble, all the pain, trauma, suffering that I've been through, that I want to overcome, that I'm seeking to improve and evolve from? Is he worth all of those things that I've put into my relationships and improving my approach to relationships? Is he worth the effort? Is he worth my time? That's the bigger question. Is a man good enough for you once you've done the work to become good enough for a good man? Now, again, I'm not talking to everybody, because I'm not talking about every man. I'm talking about good men, and I'm talking about good women. That's not always something that is just a default. Every woman ain't a good woman and every man ain't a good man, clearly. But when you've done that work and when you've dedicated yourself to a new result in your life, and when you've dedicated yourself to the process of growth, once you get to a guy and you start to like him, you can't be so focused on if he likes you that you forget to look and you forget to observe and you forget to study him in a way that qualifies him first. You've done the work. And contrary to what any sexist or alpha so-and-so creator tells you, a woman is still equal in her value to a man. So why do you spend so long trying to get right after a relationship, trying to fix yourself up, keeping your body up, keeping your mind up, keeping your spirit up, learning, growing mentally and evolving? And then you ask yourself if he likes you, if you've done all this work, if you're finally good enough for some guy who you haven't properly vetted. When you've done the work, when you've grown, it's not about if he likes you at that point. It's about if he is good enough, if he has what it takes, if he's also grown, if he's also evolved from whatever experiences, if he's also willing to put on the work, if he's also dedicated, if he's also diligent in being a great human being and a great partner. If he's willing to do what you've done, if he's willing to continue to do those things with you to grow as a team and as a couple and as a unit, is he good enough? That's the question that a lot of you need to be asking. You do all this work, you study all these videos, you watch hours of this shit, and then you get to a guy and you completely remove all standards from him in hopes of him just finally accepting you because you're so afraid of rejection. At some point, you have to start qualifying these men. So this isn't for everybody, but the women who have studied, the women who have grown, the women I encounter, who are focused on being greater for their partners, for their families, for the people around them. You cannot focus on if a man likes you and making a man like you. You need to be qualifying these people. Your focus needs to be, are these men good enough to enter your life? And you determine what good enough is. But good enough damn sure better include many of the efforts, the evolutionary signs and the growth signs that you've experienced yourself. We all have a process of growth, and we all have our own journeys to embark on. But if a man is not on his journey, if a man's just enjoying himself with women, he's not good enough. You've put too much work in to find yourself with a man who's fucking for fun while you're fucking for love. You've put too much work in to find yourself with a man who doesn't know what he wants and doesn't like titles. You put too much work in with a man who thinks that because he has balls between his legs, he's better than you and therefore can cheat on you because he's so-called high value. You've put too much work in to continue dating men who don't take women seriously and resent the idea that they should stand for anything outside of conquering as many women as they can and living a life of comfort. You've put too much work in to deal with these men who reject a man's responsibility and whose only focus is making their life easier and more convenient. You've put too much work in to keep dating these men who make women jump through hoops just to prove themselves because they have so-called trust issues. Stop dating these guys who don't want what you want. Stop wondering about these guys liking you. Stop qualifying yourself to a man and start making men qualify themselves to you. Men will continue to go through hordes of women who don't value themselves. They only stop for women who do. You've done the work. You've done the study. You've been diligent. Why don't you become that woman who values herself and doesn't take shit? It's not about playing hard to get. It's about being a person who respects yourself and requires more from the people around you. Some of you need to stop asking me how to tell if a guy likes you or if a guy likes you or how to make a guy like you more. Some of y'all need to be looking at that guy that you like and trying to figure out what he's done to qualify himself to you, what he's done to be good enough. What part of what he offers is giving you the idea that he's going to add something great to your life? Too many of y'all are trying to enter these relationships where you like a guy and you have a crush on him. So at that point, you don't give a damn if you're unequally yoked with this guy. You don't give a damn if he's mentally stunted, if he's emotionally stunted, if he's spiritually stunted. All you care about is if he likes you. And for the most part, they don't. A man will like you enough to smell your flower, but if he has no knowledge of self, if he possesses no wisdom, he won't know a good thing when he sees it. He'll smell your flower like he smelled the last 300, but he's not going to stop for you. Stop trying to figure out how to make men like you and start trying to make sure that the men that you like are good enough. That's the question I wish I got. Kev, how do I tell if he's good enough? How do I tell if he's good enough? Is this guy good enough? Is this guy good enough? I never get that question. It's always how to qualify myself to some ain't shit man. And usually from a woman who's done the work, who's been diligent, who's tried to improve, who understands that she has flaws, who's working on herself. Get you a guy with that same self-awareness and that same wisdom. Wisdom is knowledge applied. When a man has applied his experience and his failures to his new action, he's become wise. Too many men have been doing the same dumb shit forever, and they don't plan on stopping because it gets them laid, and y'all like them. Fix it, Lord. Fix it, Jesus. Is he good enough for you? Is he a man who's not going to mismanage you? Is he a man who's not going to mishandle you? Is he a man who's worthy of the sacrifices that you've made thus far to get to where you are? Is he going to take you backwards? Is he going to push you forwards? Will you continue to grow with him? Does he increase your security, increase your self-esteem, make you feel safer, make you feel more protected, more supported? Or does he just give you butterflies? A relationship isn't built on butterflies. That's like a house built on sand. So do what you will with this message. I'll get with y'all later.